Gentlemen, let me ask you a question. How many of you wake up every single day feeling like you're running on empty? You're doing everything right, working hard, building your future, trying to look your best. But when it comes to the one thing that truly matters, the connections with the people around you, the relationships with the women who could change your life, nothing seems to stick. You've seen your friends rise, get attention, get love, while you're left wondering, why not me? What's wrong with me? If you feel lost, emotionally drained, and like you're not seen for who you truly are, it's not your fault. Society teaches us that success is all about looks, money, and status. But deep down, you know something's missing. You know that all the external achievements won't fill the void that's been growing inside of you. The truth is, 99% of men still don't know the power of emotional depth, of real vulnerability, of being the kind of man who attracts not just attention, but meaningful, lasting connections. And here's the harsh reality. Unless you get this, unless you embrace it, you'll keep feeling stuck, disconnected, and like you're walking in circles. I want you to stop chasing shallow victories. I want you to realize that the most powerful thing you can become, the thing that will open doors for you, is the man who knows how to connect at a deep emotional level, not just with others, but with himself. That's where your power lies. And I'm here to guide you through it. Let's talk about something that most men still don't fully understand. What women really want. You've probably heard all kinds of advice, things like be confident, make money, look good. We've been taught that if we check all these boxes, then we'll have it all. But here's the truth that no one wants to say out loud. Women don't just want confidence. They don't just want a nice car, a good job, or a sharp suit. What they really crave, more than anything, is emotional depth. And I know you're thinking, what does that even mean? How do I show that? Let me explain. Emotional depth isn't something you can fake. It's not about putting on a mask and pretending like everything is fine. It's about being able to tap into your own feelings, understand them, and communicate them. It's about being real. It's about being vulnerable enough to admit when you're hurt or scared, but strong enough to face those emotions without pushing them down. Because here's the thing, women can feel it. They can feel when you're hiding behind a mask, when you're pretending to be something you're not. And when that happens, the connection isn't real. It's surface level. Real emotional depth is what allows someone to really connect with another person. It's when you can have a conversation that goes beyond the small talk, the how was your day, and into the deeper layers. When you can talk about what really matters to you, your dreams, your fears, your struggles, when you're able to listen, not just hear, and when you show her that you see her for who she really is, not just as a body, not just as someone you're trying to impress. But here's the thing about emotional depth. It's not something you develop overnight. It's a journey. It's about understanding yourself first, being willing to look inward, and being okay with what you find there. When you're able to do that, when you can embrace your own emotional landscape, you become a different kind of man. One who is comfortable in his own skin, one who isn't afraid to show his true self. And when that happens, something magical occurs. You start to attract the kind of woman who isn't interested in the surface level stuff. She wants the real connection, the depth. She wants the man who can show up emotionally, who can be open, honest, and vulnerable without fear. That's when you'll truly understand what it means to be emotionally available. It's not about being perfect, it's about being real. And when you get this, when you start living this truth, you'll see how your relationships change. You'll stop chasing after the wrong things and start building something that lasts. Because real connections are built on emotional depth, and that's what women want more than anything else. Let's talk about vulnerability, because I know so many men are terrified of it. You've been taught from a young age that vulnerability equals weakness, right? That if you show any sign of emotion, you're not strong, you're not tough, and that's not what a man should be. But I'm here to tell you that this is one of the biggest lies you've been fed. Vulnerability is not weakness, it's strength. It's the kind of strength that comes from being comfortable in your own skin, from being open enough to allow someone to see the real you, not just the version you think you need to present to the world. I know it's scary. I know the idea of showing your true self, of letting someone in and being honest about your fears, your past, your insecurities, feels like opening yourself up to rejection. But here's the truth. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, when you drop the walls you've built around yourself, something incredible happens. You create real, meaningful connections. You begin to attract people who appreciate you for who you truly are, not for some facade you've been carrying around. Because the truth is, the right people, the people who will truly love and respect you, aren't interested in the perfect version of you. They want to see the raw, real you, the man who has been through things, who has struggled, who has felt pain and fear, and still chooses to show up. Being vulnerable doesn't mean you have to spill every single detail about your life to anyone you meet. It doesn't mean you have to share your deepest, darkest secrets with the world. But it does mean allowing yourself to be seen, even in your imperfection. It means being okay with not having all the answers, with being open about where you're at emotionally, and allowing others to share in that space with you. It's about emotional honesty. When you let your guard down, you open the door to a deeper connection with the people around you, especially with women. You stop trying to be the perfect guy, and you start being the real guy, flawed, vulnerable, but powerful in your own right. And that's where true intimacy lies. It's not in the external things, the car you drive, the job you have, or the way you look. It's in your ability to be open, to be vulnerable, to show your heart. And I promise you, when you can do this, you will become the kind of man who not only attracts the right woman, but also the right kind of relationships, ones built on trust, on authenticity, on a real emotional connection. That's where the magic happens. That's where love begins. Let's dive into something that most men overlook: self-awareness. You can't truly connect with others if you're not in tune with yourself. It's not enough to just focus on what's happening around you or the people in your life. If you're not taking the time to understand who you really are, what you're feeling, and why you feel it, then you're just walking through life on autopilot, hoping that things will fall into place. And let me tell you, they won't. Not in the way you want them to. Self-awareness isn't some abstract, feel-good concept. It's the foundation of everything. It's the key to unlocking a deeper connection with the people you care about, including yourself. The thing is, most of us are so caught up in trying to impress others or chase after success that we forget to ask ourselves the most important question: who am I? And I'm not talking about what you do for a living or how much money you make. I'm talking about what makes you tick, what scares you, what drives you. What's the story you've been telling yourself about who you are, and is it really the truth? When you start paying attention to your thoughts, your emotions, and your reactions, that's when the real growth happens. It's when you realize that your feelings aren't just something that happened to you, they're an invitation to understand yourself better. For example, if you're feeling angry or frustrated, instead of just acting on it or brushing it aside, pause and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What is this emotion trying to teach me? It's not about suppressing emotions. It's about understanding them. And when you do, you start gaining control over how you react to the world around you. Here's the thing. No one can truly love you for who you are if you don't know who you are. Self-awareness isn't just about understanding your emotions. It's about understanding your needs, your values, and your boundaries. And without that, how can you expect to build a deep emotional connection with someone else? If you're constantly looking to others for validation, if you're always seeking external approval, then you're never going to find the real connection you're longing for. But when you start this journey of self-awareness, when you stop to ask yourself the tough questions and really listen to your inner voice, you begin to build a foundation of self-love and self-respect. And that's what attracts the right people into your life. People who see you for who you truly are, not for the image you've been trying to project. When you know yourself, when you understand your emotions, when you take the time to reflect and grow, you become the kind of man who can form connections that go beyond the surface. And that's where real relationships begin. Let's talk about the trap of seeking validation from others. I know so many men fall into this, and I get it. It feels good. right? When someone tells you you're doing great, when you get compliments on your looks, or when you get that promotion or achievement that makes everyone around you nod and say, yeah, that guy's got it together. It feels like a win, like you're finally enough. But here's the problem. Validation from the outside world is fleeting. It's like a drug. It gives you a high for a moment, but it leaves you empty in the end. The truth is, validation from others is never going to fill the void that exists inside of you. No matter how much praise you get, no matter how many likes you get on social media, you'll always find yourself searching for more. You'll keep chasing that feeling, always looking for the next thing to prove that you're enough. But here's what no one tells you. When you're constantly seeking validation from others, you're putting your worth in their hands. You're allowing someone else to define who you are, how valuable you are, and whether or not you're enough. And when you rely on other people's approval to feel good about yourself, you're giving away your power. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't care about what others think at all. We all want to be seen, heard, and respected. But the key is in not making your sense of self-worth conditional on their opinion of you. You have to start validating yourself. You have to become the person who tells yourself, I am enough, just as I am. It starts with understanding that you are valuable, regardless of external accomplishments, regardless of the praise or rejection from others. When you can stand in front of the mirror and look at yourself with pride, not because of what you've achieved, but because of who you are, then you've unlocked a power that can't be taken away. You begin to see yourself as worthy of love, respect, and success without needing to prove it to anyone. And here's the beauty of it. When you stop seeking validation from the outside, when you start to stand strong in who you are, that's when you start attracting the people who really see you. Not the surface level connections, but the deep, meaningful ones. Real confidence isn't about how many people applaud you. It's about knowing deep down that you're enough even when no one else is around to tell you. When you stop chasing validation and start validating yourself, you stop feeling lost, you stop trying to prove your worth, and you start living in the truth that you are already worthy. And that, my friend, is when you'll begin to attract the things that truly matter in life: real connections, real love, and real respect. Let's talk about emotional regulation, because it's something that too many men struggle with, and I get it, it's not easy. In a world where we're constantly told to push through, be strong, and keep going no matter what, we're never really taught how to manage the emotions that come with it. We've all been there feeling frustrated, angry, sad, or even lost. But instead of confronting those emotions, we suppress them. We bottle them up because we're afraid of looking weak or vulnerable. But here's the hard truth. When you ignore your emotions, when you shove them deep down and act like they're not there, they don't just disappear. They build up, and over time, they start to control you. Emotional regulation is not about ignoring your feelings or pretending like they don't exist. It's about understanding them, recognizing them for what they are, and then choosing how to respond. It's about not letting your emotions dictate your actions. Think about it for a second. How many times have you reacted out of anger, frustration, or fear, only to look back and regret it later? Maybe you snapped at someone you care about, or made a decision you knew wasn't right. That's what happens when we let our emotions run the show. But when you learn to regulate them, when you understand what's going on inside of you, you gain control over how you react to situations, not the other way around. Emotional regulation doesn't mean suppressing or hiding your emotions. It's about creating space to feel them, to understand why they're there, and then to decide how you want to move forward. It's about being in control of your reactions, not letting your emotions hijack your behavior. And this takes practice. It takes being willing to sit with your feelings instead of running from them. It takes being honest with yourself about what's really going on inside. When you can do that, when you can acknowledge your emotions without letting them consume you, that's when you become emotionally powerful. Here's the thing. Emotions are powerful. They're there for a reason. And they can be your greatest strength when you learn how to manage them. But when you let them control you, when you let them run wild, that's when they start to tear you down. Emotional regulation is the skill that will help you build resilience, maintain control in tough situations, and show up as the best version of yourself. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present with yourself, acknowledging how you feel, understanding why, and using that awareness to guide your actions. And when you can do that, you'll find that your relationships, your career, and your life as a whole will shift in ways you never imagined. It's not about avoiding emotions, it's about mastering them. Let's talk about building meaningful relationships, because at the end of the day, that's what we all want, right? We're all searching for connections that go beyond the surface. You want to be seen, you want to be heard, you want to be understood, and you want to give that same depth to others. But the truth is, too many of us are caught up in the idea of trying to make relationships work without truly investing in the emotional foundation that makes them last. We chase after people, we play games, we act like someone we're not, all because we think it'll get us the approval, the attention, the validation we think we need. But let me tell you something. Real, meaningful relationships don't come from playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. They come from being honest, vulnerable, and truly authentic with the people you care about. When you begin to show up as your true self, without the facade, without the mask, you start attracting people who value you for who you actually are. And when I say show up as your true self, I don't just mean the good parts. I'm talking about showing up with your flaws, your fears, your insecurities, the things that make you human. Real intimacy is built on honesty and authenticity. You can't build a meaningful relationship with someone if you're constantly hiding parts of yourself, if you're only showing them what you think they want to see. You have to be willing to let someone in to show them the real you and trust that they'll still love you for it. This is where a lot of people get stuck, especially in dating. You start trying to be who you think someone else wants you to be instead of just being yourself. You think, if I act this way, maybe I'll get the attention I want. Or if I don't show this side of me, they'll like me more. But here's the thing. Those types of relationships are shallow. They're not built to last. They're built on lies, on things that aren't real. The true connections, the ones